there's so much was happening when we're coming up with these ideas, and when I find out about this business itself, I didn't know anything about it. I'm Japanese, and this what is about the renting a family member? What is why these people exist and what are they doing? Like, what kind of people who are helping, right? So for me, it was during the time of pandemic as well. So we were kind of in a place where it's unknown, and felt like isolation was just taking over our life, and we really wanted to come up with a story that a way we can reach the people, connect the people together and bridge the gap, and just all of us together and just build this family, even though it's fake. So that was kind of the way we wanted to, give the story to the people who perhaps need the most. And when you think about Brendan's character, Phillip, just going on this journey and his discovery of who he is as a person through the connection that, through the people he meets, or through the connections that he discovers through this business. I think I just couldn't avoid to go through, starting from the vulnerability, just being who he is, really meeting all these people and just finding the life that he never expected to have, and that the joy he receives, and that I think that there's no way we can avoid that. It's human emotion. Everybody's just like, oh, there he is. Every character in this movie really invests, the relationship with Brendan's character, Phillip. And I think we did something really special. And, I would hope that our audience will just pick up a phone and call people who haven't been talked to. Just reach out and then also if you're somebody who's just really feeling loneliness, right, lonely, or feels like there's things that of need in their lives, then I really want them to feel that you're not alone. We just have to get up the ladder and just see the world from a different perspective, because that will take us to the next level. The door's going to open for us, right? So
I can't say it enough. This film is a love letter to loneliness. It's addressed to anywhere, Tokyo. It's been written and signed and sealed with a cherry blossom kiss. It's a testament to the power of connection. And to see this unique story come to the screen finally, it just feels good knowing how many people are seeing this movie and walking away with something positive to say and feel about it long after the credits have rolled. Tokyo, like any metropolitan city, is a beehive of activity, and it seems there's an irony that it's possible to have such solitude and even an epidemic of loneliness among people. So that's why a rental family agency exists, to fill the need the clients have to make connection with one another on a level that's not superficial. Looking at screens is what we do so often now, and standing in for one another, even as a surrogacy or even as, a make-believe, is not so far-fetched when you consider the good that it does.
人間の普遍的な孤独を描いてると思うんですけど、その孤独の奥にあるなんか優しさ、温かさについて語ろうとしている映画だと思います。
I think this film is really about the unchanging human condition of loneliness, and it's a universal thing, but this film also goes beyond that into kindness and warmth, which is something I really loved.
ブレンダンとしかとにかく素晴らしい役者、ファンタスティック、とても楽しかったです、素晴らしい人柄、演技、奥行きのある、なんか深い人だなとやっててとても楽しかった。
So Brendan was just really wonderful. He's a fantastic guy. It was really fun to work with him. He is wonderful as a person and as an actor. He has this incredible depth. So it was a really fun experience.
なんかもっとたくさん日本を舞台にした映画が作られるといいなと思ってます。その中でたくさん日本の文化が分かると思うんで、これからどんどんそういう映画が作られるんじゃないかなと思っております。
So I just wish that more films would be made in Japan and go out, and I also feel that the culture will spread that way, and I believe that that will happen, so I'm really looking forward to what the future holds.
This is my first job, and just having to work just this role just by my just with Brandon and Hikari and just so many amazing actors and actresses, and I just got this role as like a dream. I mean, it was crazy, mind-blowing. I felt that it's okay to be lonely. Like I said some interviews that I'm in a Japanese school, but my house is an international house, so the rules are a bit different from other kids, my friends' houses, so sometimes I feel a little distance from my friends, and I love them because they're my friends and they try to understand me and try to let me be in their group, but like some parts I feel a bit lonely. So I think from doing this movie or just reading the script that I felt a part that I understand how Mia feels or how this movie moves on. I like to rent same age group, girl or boy, friend, same house rules and same kind of environment. Yeah, I like to have someone just we can understand each other.
When I first read the script, he was sort of the chameleon, the type of he can't really figure out who he is. He's a good guy or a bad guy, but eventually he's not without fault himself. He also is a sort of a victim, or he also suffers from loneliness himself. So I guess that I really sympathize or relate to. Yeah, I mean, we did a press junket today, and we felt like reunion of the family, and and especially we went to Japan to shoot this, and so I live in the U.S. now, so it's sort of like coming home for me and for Mary too, but we were in a different place, the cities traveling, all together, so yeah, it made it a special experience. I started out working in the States for about 5 years ago, and I never thought something like this would come along, so it's hard to believe.
My character has a sort of complicated role in this film where it's not so much that this is what she cares about, that she cares about really being there for people, because I think she has a background of people not being there for her when she needed them the most. So her mission is to be there for people who need her in whatever capacity, and I think that teaches us that whatever you put out in the universe comes back to you. I think we see her go through all of these hard things alone, but then Phillip, Brendan's character, shows up and he is there for her and he gives her the strength and the permission to sort of stand up for herself. So I think keep putting out care and compassion into the world and you will receive it, is what I think we can learn from her. Yeah.
Well, Yomti, my co-composer, and we met up with Hikari and had a experimental brainstorming session after watching the early cut of the film, and we had loads of ideas about incorporating broken instruments that were kind of fragile by their nature, and that's where we began. We started writing pieces with an old toy instrument called the Optagon, which was originally made by Mattel in the 1970s, the toy maker. And we kind of started there, and that led us down many branches of finding the sound of Phillip, kind of vulnerable, lost character that has his journey throughout the film. I think the instrument palette helped us do the things that needed to be less emotional in tone, a little lighter, a little more accident-prone or quirky, because when you're playing these instruments, they have these kind of chance element, non-linearities, because that's really hard. I tend to want to play comedic scenes fully dry, no music. So that was an interesting learning curve, but the other scenes were very easy to conjure. The kind of emotional arc of Phillip and the other characters came really naturally for us, and we really loved telling that story musically.
We can all relate to the concept and the feeling of when you might want to switch out some of your family members, maybe around the holidays. So the idea that you could sort of pick and choose and fill a void, I think we could both relate to that. Everyone, we all have lost people in our lives, and that's a very relatable feeling. And Hikari, telling us that version of events through a Japanese lens was really interesting for us because we had never heard anything like it.
Yeah, and it was bizarre in the best of ways and different, and yeah, we really never heard anything like it, so we were intrigued instantly. I mean, we were lucky enough to land Brendan first, and then Hikari had some pretty clear ideas of who she wanted to fill the rest of the cast out with. Obviously fantastic actors, Mari, Taka, Shannon, Akira, Emoto, legend, living legend. So it was thrilling to work with them. They were all wonderful, and they all became a family through production. And so you can see it in the movie, but they all love each other deeply. And yeah, it was, we feel blessed and grateful that we got to work with these people.
Well,
filming was challenging.
Yeah, and we were isolated, so I think we were each other's family because we were living. Our families eventually did come, but we were very far away for a long time in a completely unknown place, a place that we hadn't been before, that we didn't speak the language.
Yeah.
But we were warmly welcomed. But we had a few days where we were a little overwhelmed and got lost and felt some isolation because it is a busy place and it can feel lonely, but it is stunning, and
people are lovely, and the culture is incredible, and so it was great to shoot there. Yeah, very lucky to be able to film there. Yeah, I mean, look, I think the movie's about connection. I think the world's a crazy place and seemingly a darker place than it has been in a long time, and so we hope people leave feeling love and feeling full and feeling like they need to give people grace and be kind. Yeah.
It just feels like the number of transactional relationships that occur between people, between surrogates and the performer. There are so many emotions that are transferred between the two of them, and there are so many stories that are possible to tell. So it seemed like an interesting opportunity to explore loneliness in modern society, and we really wanted to engage in that. Oh, that's a very good question. It was a very careful process. So a lot of the time you're just reading the script over and over and over again, saying, is this funny? Is this too funny? Because you want to make sure that you can earn enough levity with the audience as you're going through the process. So in those moments of drama it hits, and then you could pull them back with a laugh, but you want to make sure it's earned. That's the most important thing. I mean, it's an absolute dream. I mean, Brendan himself is one of the kindest, most genuine men in the world. I mean, what you see is what you get with him. And then just the ensemble. I mean, one of the things that we dreamed about initially in developing the characters was that we'd end up with a cast like this. And this goes, with the older actors, even with Mia. I mean, she's just an absolute dream. Shannon is fantastic and tough and feisty, and she's absolutely hypnotic on screen. And Akira, the older gentleman, is an absolute legend. So it's a wonderful experience for us.